Hello, Team Integrity.
Hello.
Hey, guys. I feel like a reporter for the first time in my life, but we're reporting live from the Phoenix airport. And we're so happy that we were able to pop on here. We originally were supposed to be home by noon today, but life changes and plans change. And we're really happy and thankful that it did, because we flew down to Phoenix on, I don't even know what today is, Monday. Saturday for the Peta Kelly book signing. And if you guys don't know who Peta Kelly is, please take a minute and look her up. But she is married to Eric Coover, the founder's son. And she spoke at New Year kickoff, and she just speaks my love language, you guys. When she got up on stage, I just really resonated with her and just knew that I needed more of her in my life. And so I bought the book that she released, which is called Earth is Hiring. Read it, skimmed it, highlighted, and then I was so happy that we came down to see her again, because she spoke volumes into me the way that I needed to. And, you know, this month we've been focusing on action in our businesses and what that means and what it looks like. And what I needed was to hear I could put personal development in action towards my business. And it's kind of like three different entities there. And Peta just kind of summed it up for me really quick in this really intimate setting, you guys. There's only probably 50 people there. And I didn't know it was going to be like that. I just assumed it was going to be this big venue. And, you know, people, Eric Coover's there, Kathy's there, Travis Garza's there. I just was like, oh, what? All these people. But you know what it meant? It was that these people, this corporation, are supporting Peta, because what she stands behind is what we all could really use to help our businesses. She's talked about network marketing in a way that I've never heard it or have had it explained to me before. And it's not about, Joe, just real quick, because I know we're on a time crunch. I'm going to talk about one subject and Joe's going to talk about another. But these two things are what resonated with us the most. And I'm pretty sure, like, Rachel's going to go into more detail maybe about book club with this book, and you will get so much out of this book. I just want you to know. But she starts off by just saying, you know, we did, Rachel, how do you say it? The chocolate drink that we drank. I'm going to mess it up. It's like Quacko.
Cacao.
Cacao.
There you go.
So, I mean,
Wacko. I love it.
I know. Quacko, cacao. So just to set the scene is we are served this cacao, which is this chocolate like drink.
Pretty ritual.
It's a ritual for helping set your intention in meditation before a ceremony. And then we had some Native Americans came out, did this tribal dance. And so what she was doing is she was just thanking the earth for what they've provided for us, just showing some gratitude. Starting everything with gratitude is really important. And then she just shifted the energy right into what we need to be doing, because our calling is much higher than just going through the routines of life. And so this last month, I've really struggled. Well, actually, it's been like 2 months, you guys. My business has struggled because I feel really stagnant and overwhelmed and don't know what direction I need to be going in. And so I have to simplify. And the best thing that I can say is I need to unkink my hose. And if you know what that means from your kickoff, it still resonates with me now. And she talked about this. And unkinking your hose is pretty much you think of a hose, like a garden hose, and it's supposed to flow water out of the hose, this beautiful stream of water. In our life, we kink it. And so it's harder and harder for the water to get through and be a pure energy. And I can honestly say that I knew what my biggest kink in my life was, and I addressed it, and my life got a little bit easier. But what I didn't realize is I was going to continue to put more kinks in my hose. I just assumed that once I got them out, they were going to be gone. And that's not what happened. I actually created more kinks because I'm not allowing myself to have this free energy of growth, because I self-sabotage. And we all know we all do that, and that higher limit, right? So she talked about it, and I'm going to read a little bit out of the book because there's a call to action. And I know this is what we're talking about, action. And I don't want it to seem all hokey pokey, but I really think these things will help our businesses grow. And it's, so the first call of action is unkinking your hose. So she gets that question all the time. How do I unkink my hose? Well, list all things, people, commitments in your life that are kinking your hose. I mean, it can be hers were commitments after 6 p.m. That was a big kink in her hose. I mean, it seems simple, shopping malls, kink your hose. I was like, that's hilarious. Scrolling Facebook, Instagram. So all these kinks, we think of them as a burden, but really they create a bigger kink and kink. Some of them are family members, people that don't support our businesses, customers that don't call us back, people that say they want our nutritional program and then start avoiding us. Those become kinks, and we allow them to fester. And what happens is it becomes stagnant energy. And we all know how important it is to move up the energy around, right? And move things up. And so that could be like crazy dancing just to move the energy around. I know it sounds crazy, but it works. Get up and start dancing, because the more positive energy we can create around ourselves, it resonates back off. So unkinking your hose, I think, is a really, really important thing to start doing. So today in the work party, I would write a list of everybody, anything that kinks your hose. And what you can do is next to it, the how is really important now. We all know our whys, hopefully. It's how are we going to unkink our hose? And it's like the small things, ripping off a Band-Aid. That's that easy. Like, why don't I take my vitamins every night before I go to bed? I don't know. I need them. It's a burden. I'm like, rip off the Band-Aid, take the vitamins, move on. That's a kink. The bigger kinks will take time, and we all know that. But overcommitting out of obligation or guilt, that's a big one for unkinking your hose. Joe's going to talk a little bit about money, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's kind of cool because it just resonated with me how Peta was talking about money and how we need to change our money story, how people feel about money, the energy they put around money, the burden of money, and even like guilt of making money. We shouldn't feel bad, for thriving and being able to serve people. Where we've had some good successes with this business and other businesses, and people make us feel bad for having success, and that's not okay. And we know that, but we let it affect us. That's another one of our kinks where we're going to move past that. We're going to embrace it and see how we can disperse that money, share it, open up more avenues to accept more money to come into our lives. She did explain, like money isn't the issue. It's what's in our hearts and what we do with money. And then are you spending it with your heart or with your ego? Are you buying things you don't need? Are you, kinking other areas of your life? And it's kind of funny. She said, stop talking shit about money, because nobody wants to be talked about. If you're talking bad about something, it's not going to want to come into your life, whether it's money, a friendship, family member, or a stranger. I mean, that's kind of our network and our marketing, where how we hold ourselves and present ourselves. And, that's what people are either drawn to or deflected away from. So that's a huge one. Money does not judge us. However, we judge money every day, whether it's negative, positive, we embrace it. And nobody likes to be talked about. And we need to look at money as a being almost. So what do you want your story to be like with money? How do you want to be involved around money? And what are you voting for change with money? How are you using money to cast your vote in life? And, we're not going to bring up politics, but how is that going to affect things? We can all talk about it, but unless you're putting effort towards it or doing something about it, we're all part of the problem. So that's a big change with money. Money will come in greater amounts to all of us with people that are circulating it properly. And that really resonated with me, where, a lot of people have abundance with money and do good things with money. And people are like, oh, they're rich. Money falls in their lap. We get that a lot personally, which is very frustrating, because we're not rich. We work hard. We put our money in places where we want to enjoy it. And, this was a trip that is an investment for us personally, but now it turned into an investment for our business, our team. We can share these experiences where these trips don't cost a lot of money, and at the end of the day, it's a business trip. It's a write-off. It's part of what we do, but this is how we choose to grow, and we want to travel and do that with our team and our family, and hopefully hopefully that all grows together. But it was really cool to see Jim and Kathy Coover talking to Eric, and they were kind of blown away that we flew down just for this event, which I'm so glad we did. And instead of saying, hey, we don't do tours on Mondays, he's like, here's my cell phone number. Text me Monday morning. We will get you in. We'll figure it out. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's the senior vice president, whatever his status is, the son of the founding Jim and Kathy Coover. So then I talked to Eric a little more, and then saw Travis Garza. Introduced myself. I'm like, hey, this is a new CEO. How cool is this? Same thing. He's like, let's get you in. Let's get you a tour. You're here. Let's make it happen. So they just have open arms with the company, and it's just so cool to see that and know that we're in the right place. Let's see here. She did talk about how we're marketing it. It's more of a new way of marketing. It's not just a brand. It's living it, living by example, and block out the noise. We're all one tribe. We're not competing with each other. We're all helping each other, and we're creating a new high vibe product that, that's what people want to be part of. So another thing is that, our entity does not want us to burn out. When you burn out, which we burned out 2 months ago, and that's our fault. That's not the product's fault. That's not the company's fault. That's just how we handled it, and we learned from it. We move on. We don't want to burn out. We don't want anybody else to burn out, but we have the tools to make it right. We all know what we need to do, but we need to put it into action. We don't need Rachel telling us, hey, you guys need to do this, or hey, you guys need to go to this website, or you need to send this video. We know what we need to do. We all do. We have more tools than most companies even started with. But we just need to put it into action and know what we're doing is right and be confident about it. And practice the trust. Trust what we're doing. Trust the company. Move to a place of how. It's always, what's your why? Why are we doing this? Why do you want to do this? Now it is, how are you doing your business? How are you showing up? How do you want to live? And how do you want to be known? And start living. Used to be about the why, but now it's about the how. So I think how is going to be kind of our action word this week and throughout the year. Like, how are we going to take that step? And then, it's very easy and lazy to be negative. I've done it this week, and I just think we all need to link arms and use resources. We're able to meet with a couple team members, with Eric and Maddie, and it's just great to have that camaraderie. And if we're in the same town, we reach out to our team and just know that we're all in it together, and we all have the same basically goals. Let's just work together and kind of link arms. So I think that's the biggest thing we got from the call. So.
And just another thing is, you guys getting, we've always talked about how getting to events is so important. It is so important. And if you're not going to Celebration, we got to figure out how to get you there, because the energy of the company is so much more than just products. And I mean, the people are amazing. Taking the corporate tour today, the building's amazing. Poof, yep, everything is spectacular. But every single person in there said hello, genuinely loves us. They really want us to do good. The people that did the tour, obviously, whoever set up the tour for us, they knew all about us. So they did their research. They wanted to make sure they were pouring love in the way that we needed it. And they were so happy and wanted to know more and more and more. And it's just that feeling that that Isogenics is just starting, and it's going to get so much better. And we are all in the right place, and we're all doing the best that we can. And that's a thing that PETA kept bringing up, is maybe one of the hardest things that humans have a problem with, because we have so many things coming at us, controversial issues, politics. We have to look at people and say to them in our hearts that they are doing the best that they can. and be okay with that. And that means like those new people that we want to be on our team, and they're not doing what we tell them to, and we're not supposed to really. We're supposed to help them find a solution the way that they need it best for them. And it gets really frustrating, right? I mean, you kind of just bite your tongue and you go about it. We just have to remember everyone in this world is doing the best that they can, and that's all that we're made to do. So
meet them where they're at.
Meet them where they're at.
That's our new goal, is meet people where they're at.
And quit writing people's stories for them, because everybody has not just a life story. Like, I mean, I have my own life story, but people have money stories. They have family stories. They have a bunch of stories that create their thing. And whatever part of the story that you get may not be what drives them. So we have to keep digging. We have to keep investing and finding what really drives people for them to really get what we're all about. So it was so awesome, you guys. It was the best investment, even for me and Joe, just to do. I mean, I can't wait to go home and see my babies because I miss them so much. But it was something that we thought was just going to be a really easy trip. Turned out to be something that was probably one of the best investments for our business, that I feel like it's going to be that set. That's really going to help us get to the next level. So,
yeah, no, that's cool. Worth it. And invest in yourselves to, this is a business, but if you invest in yourself and do it the right way, then you can enjoy traveling with your friends and family, and, make that part of your business, make that part of your why and how you're going to do it. Get creative and take the family, and we take our father-in-law with us, and he helps out, and we keep our kids close to us and make it happen. So, anything else?
Does anybody have any questions that we can answer that maybe, you got to get to corporate and do the tour. And I don't know. We sat in will call all day because, so originally we were supposed to leave at 7:15. We switched our flight to 6:30 in the hopes that we were going to get this tour. We were like, we have to do this. So we did the tour at 11:30.
Yeah.
It's only an hour long, and then we've got 5 hours. We're like kind of like homeless in Phoenix. And so we sat in will call. Guys, that live that I did, will call's rocking it. Like,
they're hilarious.
They're hilarious. They're the most high energy. We shared the shot with them. They came out. You're like, share the shot, and we're like, okay. We just had so much fun with them. 2 of them are so Isagenix has their own IsaBody challenge for employees, and 2 of them are doing it, and they're like a bikini competitor, and like a bodybuilder, and they showed us their pictures. We're now friends with them. It's just cool to see. Even Will calls a huge part of the company, but they're killing it, so it was so much fun, and just revived us of what we're doing. So, let's see.
I love it, you guys. I want to highlight something that they are talking about right now. Do you guys hear the amount of sacrifice that it takes to go to events? I don't want to pretend that going to an event is like this easy vacation. And, I think sometimes we can talk about it that way because we don't want to freak our new people out. Like, oh, here are all the things that are going to stress you out about making this event happen. But when you just make up your mind that you're going to make it happen, it's not hard. Like, do hard things have to happen in order to make it happen? Yeah, but you guys do hard things all the time. And what's harder than living a life of mediocrity and a life where you're not making the money you want to make, and a life where your business isn't thriving the way you need it to? Get to an event. That hard is way better than sitting at home seeing all the pictures we're going to post on Facebook and y'all have FOMO like real bad. So when they're talking about this event, there's a lot of takeaways that Summer and Joe shared, but one of the things that I want you guys to be really aware of is that there are less than 250 celebration tickets left out of 18,000. So if you don't have your celebration ticket, get it. And if you just are not able to, it's $249. You guys, a normal, like a personal growth event, a personal development event, a business planning event, the ones that Jeff and I have been looking into range anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 for a ticket. $249 is a steal. And that's the most expensive Isagenix event ticket you can get of all the event tickets. But not just that, there's so many other things. So if for whatever reason you're not able to get your ticket like this week, talk to me, reach out to me, because there are some people on the team, including myself, who have extra tickets that we have not assigned to somebody yet because we're waiting for that next person who comes onto the team and wants to go. And so if that's you and you need to know there's a ticket held for you until you can pay for it, make that happen. Get there. We will pile 8 people in a hotel room. That was my first celebration. Are you kidding me? I snuggled with a lot of people in a bed. Just because you got it. However you can make that hotel be like, $100, however you got to do it. So make that happen. I wanted to highlight the sacrifice that they talked about because they just make it happen, you guys. And look at their lives are changed forever because of it. And you know how much more money they're going to make this year because they went to this event?
Which is, that's not what not that we weren't open to it, obviously, not what we were expecting. And it's kind of cool, a lot of people that saying unexpected count to those who are not expecting, right? And this was one, and I know it was for Joe, and I don't want to toot my own horn, but I had to drag Joe to this event because this is like crunchy pita, hippie, we were dancing and Joe, uncomfortable zone, but Joe took away a lot from it, and it kind of blew his mind because the book, you guys, I know the title of it is Earth is Hiring, the new way to live, lead, earn, give for millennials and anyone who gives a shit. But the thing is, so that kind of turned me off because of the millennial part, because there's such a stigma against it. You guys, she explained it to this.
We could do a whole nother segment on that.
A completely different way of looking at
it's crazy.
Our being as a whole. So it's just a good book. It's an eye opener, and what our contributions need to be, just as a team, as a people, just as a human. So we're really excited to continue to share. I'm going to post the link on Team Integrity because it's on sale right now on Amazon, and she's going to be in LA. If you guys get to LA, you guys can see her, but we have to go. So
yes, don't be late for your flight.
Have a good work party, and we will see you guys later.
Yeah, and invitations, post them, and we can get back to everybody, and happy to help.
For sure. Thank you, guys. We'll see you later.
Bye.
See ya.
All right. So as Joe and Summer are signing off and going to get on their flight, I'm pretty sure their flight leaves in like 8 minutes. So that's why they bounced. So what we're going to do is, if you have any questions or any things that popped out to you, please put them in the chat, and then we can definitely have some time where we're talking about content. But I am going to talk about what we're going to do next. So based on the things that Summer shared, I know that she had said about like making a list of the things that kink your hose. How many went to New Year Kickoff or watched the live from New Year Kickoff? Okay, most people on the call. So you all probably remember Peta Kelly's segment. It was one of the most powerful segments that they did there. And a lot of the things that Summer talked about, Peta talked about on some level during that talk. But she did talk about the things that kink your hose, the things that when you need to be able to do something, you're constantly distracted by all the things that really just staunch the flow of your life. So the life force, the things like, imagine yourself as a hose, and the life force, the energy force, like everything that makes you who you are and makes you creative and makes you successful and makes you productive, that is that water running through the hose. Well, when you have a kink in your hose, those can be things like relationships. As she was talking, I had a list of like 6 people in my head that I'm like, kink, kink, kink. Some of these people I haven't even talked to in like years. But it's just every time I thought about them, kink, or saw them post on Facebook, kink, and I'd have to, so I went and unfollowed them on Facebook, or, took their number out of my phone, whatever I had to do. But think about the things and the people that you do or talk to or think about or see that every time you do, it slows you down. You may not even realize it, okay? But some things are coming to your mind right now. So those are the things that Summer encouraged you guys to write down. So that's going to be step 1. Step 1 of this work party, and if you're catching the recording, I'm going to stop the recording here in a second, and you'll have about 30 minutes to work on this too. So what are the things that are kinking your hose right now? Make a list, because my list is going to look different than it did 3 months ago when I made this list the first time. What are the things that are kinking your hose? Okay. And then I want you to look at the list. I would say if you have more than 6 things kinking your hose, it might be time for an entire life overhaul. But try to come up with at least like 3 to 6 and look at those things. What can you do to unkink those? Okay, it can be something as simple as unfollowing someone on Facebook, unfriending them, blocking them, whatever. However you have to minimize the relationship if that relationship is causing you a lot of grief. I know that Joe and Summer, they have no problem sharing, but that some of the things they're talking about that are kinking their hose are some relationships in their lives. And some of them feel unavoidable, but being able to create less interaction. There are ways to do that. Okay. And if you feel obligated or whatever that looks like, so you can talk to me privately if you have questions about, okay, how do I unkink this part of my hose or whatever. So that's going to be step one. Write that list, at least one action step next to each thing that you can take this week to unkink that hose. Okay. So right there's 2 steps. Write your list. What's kinking your hose right now? At least one thing per listed item of how you can unkink that part of your life this week. Now, I'm not saying it's all going to feel good, okay? But you will feel better afterwards. I promise. I had to have a really challenging conversation back in January with somebody who was definitely kinking my hose. It was just a really challenging relationship. That conversation was not fun, but wow, did we both feel better after it was over. So I just want to encourage you, it is worth it. Okay. So Summer gave you great action steps, great call to action with that. The other thing I would do is if you haven't ordered that book already, I haven't, and it's on my list. So I'm going to order Earth is Hiring. You can order it. I think Jacqueline also said it's available on audio. Is that right? So yeah, Jacqueline and Calvin listen to it on audio. So you can do that route as well. That will be our book club book for June. We kind of dropped the ball on scheduling one for May, so I do apologize. So catch up on the books if you haven't finished all of them yet. Calvin's trying to show us something. We can't see it, buddy. So count on that one being for June, but if you are already done with the other book club books, or you're like, oh my gosh, I need to start this one now, buy it now and read it. You don't have to wait till June. Read it now. I'm gonna read it probably in a couple weeks when I finish this other book. So those are going to be some of your action items. And then for those of you who have other things that you know you would need to be working on, what I'm going to allow you to do during this work party, if you already know, oh my gosh, if I could just like finish these 3 things, income producing activities, great. But if you don't have anything or you're feeling like you're lacking direction, I want you to write down the things that you know you should be doing and how. Remember, Summer talked about the how. So if you know you need to connect with more people, your funnel's not very full right now, how are you going to connect with people this week? How are you going to do that? Are you going to send out more text messages? Are you going to get out of the house? Are you going to join more Facebook groups? How are you going to do those things? And how are you going to show up doing them? That's important too. The how of every aspect of what you're doing is so vital. So think about that. You're not just going to connect with people. How are you going to do it? Are you going to stand up and walk around and text people or call people? Because then you know your energy is going to be flowing better. If I sit in this seat for too long, I get grumpy, you guys. There's not enough e-shots, adaptogens, and frankincense in the world to get me to want to sit in this chair for more than like 30 minutes at a time. So whatever you have to be doing, go for a walk and make your calls. You know, go sit in a coffee shop. I give you permission to buy a $2 tea so you can get out of the house. Okay? Change it up. Circulate that energy. It's so important. And you think, oh, that's so simple, that won't work. Okay, well, if what you're doing isn't working, try something different. It does not have to be some big, massive breakthrough thing. It can be as simple as going on a walk to make your call, or sitting in a different coffee shop than you're used to, or sitting in a different part of your house than you're used to. Okay? So we have 30 minutes together. I'm going to go ahead and shut off the recording. So for those of you catching the recording, get to work.